First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Yahweh is the name of who this world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is the name of who this world ignorantly calls Jesus, both in the Paleo Hebrew. I also want to give double honors to the outer bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me his truth. Today, I wanted to go into how we have to stay focused on what matters, right? And truly realize that the only thing that matters is serving Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai and keeping our faith until the end. Because all that we see around us very soon to come, it's not going to matter. Right? We're entering times where we're going to be given an option of taking the you know what, right? The MOTB, the mark, and staying with the society, or abandoning the society, saying fuck that, and having faith in the Lord and that He's going to take care of us, right? So, everything that we deal with on a day to day basis, right? Things that afflict us. You have your job, you have. There's so many variables that can mess with you mentally, but you have to understand that, hey, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, right? Because as long as we have our daily bread, right, we're chilling. As long as we have a roof over our head and our daily bread, we're chilling, okay? And that takes faith, right? That takes faith. But I also wanted to go into how everything that we work for, right, you can't overinvest in this life because how I was just saying, it's going to be done away with. Literally everything we see is going to be destroyed by nuclear missiles. So when you get to that understanding, you realize that even if things don't go your way, it doesn't matter. Let's say you're going for a business venture, right? You're trying to improve your daily lifestyle, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But if it doesn't work, hey, okay, so what, right? Very soon to come, it's not even gonna matter, right? Us trying to upgrade our lives right now and stressing about it, stressing about our day to day, it doesn't matter because very soon to come, we're not even gonna be living this life anymore, right? You're not gonna have to worry about working your 9 to 5. You're not gonna be worrying about light bill, electricity bill. You're not gonna be worrying about your woman acting up, right? All these things are gonna be things of the past times, right? Because life as we know it is gonna change, right? In the blink of an eye, the world is gonna change, and women are gonna go back to their natural order, right? Work, all that bullshit is gonna be done away with because people are gonna be worrying about surviving. Okay? So, in these times that we have mercy, we're supposed to grow and ultimately get in the right mindset and understand that none of this shit matters, man. And we have to keep our eyes single, stay focused on what's gonna make us make it. Stay focused on what ultimately is gonna lead to our salvation, which is staying in the Word, right? Doing the will of the Heavenly Father Yahweh and His Son Yahweh Shai. But let's get into some scriptures. This is 2 Timothy chapter 2, and I'll start at verse 3. It says, Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier. Right? We're supposed to endure hardness, endure all the things that come our way. But most importantly, as it says, no man that warreth, right, goes to war, is going through those battles, and that man doesn't entangle himself with the affairs of this life. Right? He doesn't entangle himself. He doesn't mix in and conform to the society. Right? He doesn't get phased by things that are happening in this life, which that's what it goes into, right? Entangling. Let's get the definition. Definition. Entangleth, to involve in a perplexing or troublesome situation, right? To pretty much interweave into that situation, right? To put yourself in this world, right? No man that warreth puts himself in the affairs of this life, right? Overly invests, right? Worries, right? That he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier, right? Because once you start realizing that everything is about the word, right? When you really break it down, everything is about serving Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So when you realize that, you start to cut off things that you used to do as that old man, right, in your previous life, right? For example, let's say you used to go clubbing a lot, right? You used to hang out with people that didn't benefit you. Hey, you're gonna start cutting that off, right? You're not gonna be entangling yourself with those people anymore, with that lifestyle, right? Because you're disconnecting and you're becoming a new person. You're becoming that person that is gonna please Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Okay? And it says, and if a man also strive for masteries, yet he is not crowned, except he strive lawfully. The husband that laboreth must be first partaker of the fruits. Consider what I say, and the Lord give thee understanding in all things. Right? We're ultimately supposed to please him. But let's get this in Matthew chapter 6 and verse 19. It says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Right? And this has two things we can extrapolate out of it. It's saying that you shouldn't be laying up your treasures upon earth, so overly investing in this lifestyle, right? Working for things that are ultimately not going to matter, right? As it says, these things are corrupted and they can be stolen, right? They're going to be done away with. But the treasures we lay up in heaven, hey, no one's going to take that, right? For example, you can work all these hours to get a nicer car, a nicer this, a nicer that, and someone can literally come and steal it, right? It can be broken, destroyed, right? And everything you worked for, hey, it can be literally done away with instantly. But the treasures, the works we do for Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, no one can touch that, okay? And it says, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also, right? If you're invested in this lifestyle, if you're still of the world, that's where your mind is going to be on constantly, right? And as we know, everything that is in the world is going to be done away with, right? That's why I'm making this video, right? So you have to really change your mindset and really change the way you're thinking to make it, for us to make it, right? I'm talking about primarily to myself too, right? I'm not a hypocrite, right? I gotta focus my mind on what's important and realize that all the things that I'm doing outside of the truth, hey, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai has his ways, right? Nothing goes according to your plan in your head, right? He always throws curveballs. And if there comes a curveball you don't expect, it doesn't matter, right? Keep it pushing. We know it's just another trial and tribulation. And it's ultimately meant to build us up. But back to the point, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be, right? If you're doing the things of the world, you're not going to be you're not going to be meditating on the Lord, right? You're going to be focused more about earthly things and things of the world which don't benefit us, okay? Verse 22 says, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light, right? Which goes into staying focused on the light, which is Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. We have to keep our eye single, keep your eye focused, right, on what's important. But let's get this in Colossians chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, if ye then be risen with Hamashiach, seek those things which are above, where Hamashiach sitteth on the right hand of God. Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth, right? Hey, and that's, you can't really break it down any more than that, right? It says it beautifully. We're supposed to set our affections on things above and not on things of the earth, right? Because the things of the earth, we know what's going to happen, right? We know what's going to happen. And I'm going to go into some scriptures going into that. But everything we see is going to be done away with. So as it says, we're supposed to set our affections on things above, because the things that are above, the spiritual things, they lead to, or how do I put this? It's going to be a bigger profit, right? That's why it says in Romans that this is just but a light affliction. Let's actually get that. I'll get it right here, because that also goes into it beautifully. 2 Corinthians, it's actually Corinthians, 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 17. This is why we set our mind and our affections on things above. It says, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weights of glory. Right? All the things we're going through, hey, we're gonna receive so many blessings, so many things that we can't comprehend. That's why I think this is Paul, right? That's why Paul is saying that this is just but a light affliction, right? Compared to the things that we're gonna receive, this is a light affliction. This is nothing, right? It says, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. So when you put it in perspective, right, we're really striving for immortality, right, to rule forever in righteousness. So all these little trials and tribulations and shit we go through is really nothing when you really compare it to a life of immortality and living forever. Okay? And that's how you have to really think to really make it and really be truly prosperous in the spirit. Okay? Let's get this in 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 29. And this is also Paul talking. He was going into the women. But it says, "But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none." Right? Because we're entering times where it's not going to matter. Right? Those things don't matter. Right? You have to be focused on the truth. Right? If you have a wife, he said, hey, be as though you had none. Okay? Because, hey, let's read it. "And they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away." Right? He's pretty much saying all these things. Hey, don't worry about it. Right? That happened to you? Don't worry about it. Right? If you have a wife, hey, act like if you had none. For the fashion of this world passeth away. Right? Because ultimately all the things we see are going to be done away with. Right? We know the prophecies that have been prophesied. Right? The ultimate game plan and script that Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh is playing on. Right? And let's just go straight to that. Right? This is 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, "But the day of the Lord Yahweh will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?" Right? So knowing that this place is going to be done away with by the way of nuclear missiles, right? Intercontinental ballistic missiles, what manner of persons are you to be, right? How are you supposed to conduct yourself and act, right, on a day-to-day basis, right? What's your mindset supposed to be? Okay? It says, "Looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of Yahweh, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat." Right? So knowing all these things are going to be done away with, we're ultimately supposed to be focused on what's important and what's going to save us from all of this, which is faith, most importantly. Okay? Let me get this in 1 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 24. It says, "Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible." Right? Because the the Joe Schmo, the modern Jake, right, just your regular person, he's striving for a corruptible crown, right, for things of this world, right? Because what they push in this society is, oh, you have a shitty car, go get a nicer one, right? You have this girl, go get a better one, right? Everything is just of the world, right? Things that ultimately don't matter, okay? It's corruptible, right? It can be tainted, right? And let's actually get that definition. It says, corruptible, susceptible to corruption. Let's get that definition. Corruption, dishonest, fraudulent conduct by those in power, typically involving bribery. The process by which something, typically a word or expression, is changed from its original use or meaning to one that is regarded as erroneous or debased. Right? So pretty much when you corrupt something, you make it impure, right? You're altering it, falsification, manipulating it. Okay? So all these things of the world, right? As it's talking about a corruptible crown, it can all be tainted. But the biggest crown, right? The striving for Yahweh Salakia, striving for Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, that's an incorruptible crown because that can't be touched by anyone, right? So it's just putting in perspective that how these people think, right? Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, right? The glory and all the lights of this world, which doesn't mean shit, right? But we an incorruptible, right? Salvation, immortality, new bodies, righteousness, right? That's what we strive for ultimately. Let's get a couple more scriptures and I'll end it off. This is First John chapter 2 and verse 15, and it says, "Do not love the world." And this is a classic scripture. It says, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world." Right? The lust of the flesh, looking at women, right? Just lust, right? When you actually break that down, it says a very strong sexual desire, right? Being covetous, which that's what this society pushes, right? Wanting what another man has, okay? It says, "And the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of God abideth forever." Okay? That's the incorruptible crown, the crown that can't be touched. Because all these things that is just highlighted, those things can be tainted, right? They can be done away with, okay? You can work your entire life for a mansion, right? A six-figure car, and someone can literally come and break it. And everything you worked for was for nothing, right? But the things we're working for, no one's going to be able to touch that. And that's the point I'm going after, is that we have to keep our eye focused, right? Stay focused on what's important, because everything in this world doesn't ultimately matter, okay? And this is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 35. And it's one scripture. It says, "Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away." Okay? So that ultimately sums it all up, right? Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. Okay? But hopefully this was edifying and you got something out of this. But with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash, and double honors to the outer bishops and apostles of great Muslim that taught me his truth. Shalom to you, like Shalom.